Well, welcome to another episode of DIY Projects with Charles. So, this project is probably going to be a little unusual for most people, but uh, everybody does their own thing. I happen to like this project. What it is a DIY dog septic system. Okay, so I've got 5 dogs, and they've got a little dog pen here. You can kind of see where they come out. Now I've got a doggy door, so they can come in and out as they please and use this little piece of the yard. My plan is to expand this whole area and take this all the way along the back side of the house up to this little shed that I've got here. So this at some point will all be concreted in. And so as far as this project is concerned, I'm gonna kind of give you the idea, the concept behind what I'm trying to do here. So we'll start with this. Now this hole here that has the plywood around it is a 3 foot by 3 foot cube, essentially, that I put in the ground here. So I dug this hole basically 4 foot by 4 foot, and I put this 3 foot by 3 foot wood. That's treated wood, 2x4s, to basically square off this, box it in, so to speak, where the septic tank would go. Okay, and so after I did that, then I came back and I cut the hole in the center for the tank itself. That's already been done. Now, this particular system does not use a trench or a pipe that you could leach out into the yard. You could add that if you wanted to, and of course I guess I could come back down the road and I could trench this and add a pipe to it. So what essentially that does is it makes it more like a septic system for a house, where there's a tank, and then leading out of the tank there is a pipe that runs out into the yard that's buried, that has holes in it, and so the water from the tank itself then would go out into that pipe, and it would leach into the ground and be absorbed into the ground. So I'm not sure I really need that in this particular scenario, so I haven't done it, and I'm not using it at this point, but that is an option down the road. So essentially what the concept here is, I've dug this big hole, and I put this platform in it. I'm going to use this cattle tank as the actual tank that the sewage would go into, or the dog poop would go into. And then what I'm going to do is, I've got this piece of 3-inch PVC here, and I'm going to drill a hole in the bottom of this for the PVC. I'm going to drop that pipe down into this bucket. What I'll do is I'll drop it into the bucket, and I'll probably have, maybe 4 or 5 inches between the top of the bucket and the top of the pipe. Okay, so conceptually what's going to happen here is that you fill this up with dog poop and water, and then you're going to add the enzymes, like a Rid-X type enzyme that will break down the dog poop and liquefy it. And then at that point, what happens is, as this water level rises in this tank, it will get to the pipe, which is the overflow. So the overflow then, it will go into the pipe and then drain down into the hole, into the ground, because that's just there's water in it right now, but underneath that it just leaches right into the ground. Okay, so we're gonna liquefy the the dog poop in this tank, and then we're basically going to fill this, keep this bucket full of water, so that also keeps the smell down. And then you keep filling this bucket up to the point once it's liquefied, and then you dump it into the overflow. It goes down into the bottom and leaches into the ground on a long-term basis. So I had a system similar to this at one of my other houses. I think it was 4 years before I noticed any need to pull the tank out and clean out underneath it. So for the most part, it should be pretty self-sufficient, and it should, once it becomes liquid form, it should absorb right into the ground, and it shouldn't be an issue. So it's not like you got to do one of these every couple of years or anything. Worst case scenario, I pull the tank out and I go in there with a shovel and clean it out every 4 or 5 years, if that's what it comes to. So the reason I went with this kind of a bucket, obviously it's plastic, PVC is plastic. I have nothing here that rusts. My previous system, I had a tank that was metal, and it did rust after a couple of years, so that was an issue. So now I'm gonna fix that problem by going with all plastic here. Then once I get this tank dropped into the hole, the next step then is to attach a door. So you can see that this is recessed, and so I'll put a door over top of this with a hinge on it, and then the intent then is that everything is completely contained, right? So it should minimize bugs, it should minimize the smell, and it keeps everything contained. Long term, when this all gets concreted, then what I'll have is at the edge of the concrete, I will run a trough, kind of like it's basically a storm drain, and it looks kind of like a gutter, and it will run the entire length of the concrete. So that way, whenever the dogs pee out here, it runs into the trough. The trough will have a hose that comes over and dumps into the tank. So anytime they urinate out here, this eliminates the situation where you've got yellow spots all over your yard because the urine kills the grass. That's a common issue. So this way, the pee goes into the drain dumps into the tank, and it's all self-contained system. Every time it rains, it washes the entire system, and if you have a time when you don't have rain, then you can just come out and hose it off, pour a little bleach into the trough if you need to try to keep the smell down. But honestly, it works really, really well. It's an efficient system. I was very happy with it at my other house. No stains in the yard, no issues with smell, and it's an awesome setup. But anyways, what I was getting at was that once this all gets concreted, there'll be a 4-inch concrete slab completely over all of this, with the exception of that 3-foot by 3-foot hatch that you see right there on top. The door will pop open so that you can put the poop in it. So again, when it's concreted, you'll be able to come in. I can take basically a push broom, and I can push the poop right directly into the bucket, the tank. I could do the same thing with a shovel. Again, bottom line is it's very clean. It's clean for the dogs. There's no bugs. There's no issue with with flies and maggots and all of the stuff associated with having poop in your yard. So at any rate, that is the plan. I will film some of the steps as I start to put this thing together, and then I'll show you the finished product minus the concrete. That'll probably be a few months out before I get that done. Okay, so I have drilled a hole in the bottom of this, and I have temporarily installed this PVC. So the outside diameter of the PVC is about 3.5 inches. So you know, I ended up cutting out the 3-inch with the whole 3-inch hole saw, and then coming back with the jigsaw and trimming it, because I don't have the exact size hole saw for that. But just so you know, that's what I did. I put a few screws in here, 2 on this side, 2 on the inside, so you can see them there. They're not really necessary. They're just there to kind of temporarily hold it until I can get this sealed. So I'm going to put caulk on this and on the inside also. Not that it really matters. Even if it did leak, it's not critical. But anyways, gonna seal it up best I can, and go from there. All right, this is what it looks like with the pipe installed and caulked. So I got a pretty good seal on that. Same thing on the inside. I'm gonna let this dry, and that's a silicone based caulk. So I'll let this dry, and then I'll drop it in the hole, and then we go to the next steps. Okay, I've added a couple of things here so you can get an idea of where we're at. I put the lid on it, as I have mentioned. I did drop the tank in it. So this is kind of what we've got at this point. Again, when there's the slab of concrete that's going to go on top of this, will cover everything except the lid. And I'll probably build up 2x4 around this and put the lid on top of that, because that's about how much the concrete will come up. Anyways, so this is what we have for now, at least. You know, you can kind of get an idea what it looks like when it's installed. Get this lid up, kind of out of the way. So there's the tank with the pipe in it, PVC pipe in it. It's full of water. I put a bunch of Rid-X in there already, so it can start the decomposition process. I sealed up around the edge. I don't want any bugs going in or bugs coming out. I also want to minimize the smell, and that was the reason for sealing up all the cracks and everything. So that's it, essentially. And as we get the dog poop now, I'll start putting it inside the tank, and the Rid-X will start breaking it down, and then once it liquefies, it'll go down the pipe and into the hole at the bottom. Now, right now, this is a rainy season for us. We've had a lot of rain lately, so the ground is saturated. This is one of the reasons why the water is all the way up to the top of the pipe. Normally that wouldn't be that way. It would be, the pipe would have air in it, and the tank and underneath the tank would also have air in it. So this is a temporary scenario just because of all the rain that we've had lately, but that's basically how the setup works.